Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to be showing you the simplest, the easiest way to make a bodice block. So pay attention, stick around, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So get your pattern paper ready. Remember, you can also use a newspaper if you don't have a pattern paper. So the first thing I did was create this line from the top edge of the paper, and this will be our shoulder line. So I can't find my tape measure anywhere, and this is the only ruler that I have because I can't also find my other ruler, but we're going to roll with it. I'm going to give you the measurements that I'm going to be using. The next line that you're going to make is from your shoulder line to your bust point. So you're going to measure from your shoulder to your bust point. Mine was 8 inches. So you're going to mark and make a straight line like so. So I discovered this pen is not giving, it's not even showing the line properly, so I'm just going to change it. Yeah, so this is much better. So that's the line from your shoulder to your bust point or bust line, okay? And then at the bottom is your waistline, which is also the full length of this top. If you want it longer, just make it longer. If you want it to hit your hips, you're going to have to add your shoulder to hip measurement or your waist to hip measurement. So the next thing I did was to mark my shoulder measurement. Mine was 7 inches, so I'm going to mark right there 7 inches, and I'm going to come down by 1 inch. That is for the shoulder slope, because our shoulders are not straight, they are slanted, so we need that 1 inch to create the shoulder slope. The next thing that I'm going to mark is the neckline, okay? So the standard measurement for the neckline is 3 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to mark 3 inches right there and 3 inches for the depth, and I'm going to create my neckline. So if you don't have a curve, you can do what I'm doing right now. So you're going to mark another 3 inches from that point, and then you're going to make a straight line like that, and then this is going to be very easy for you to make your neckline. So I'm going to take my curved ruler, my French curve, and I'm just going to draw a curve like that, and just like that I have my neckline. But also you can do it by hand, you don't really need that ruler. The next thing I'm going to do is connect these 2 points together like so. That is to create our shoulder slope. Remember, we said our shoulders are not straight, they are slanted, so we need that slanting line, and I marked 1 inch below the shoulder line. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark or to make a straight line from the shoulder line to the bust point like so. So let's do a little recap. I hope you're understanding the pattern so far. I want to make it as easy as possible. So we started by drawing that shoulder line, which was our starting line, and then we marked from our shoulder to our bust line or bust point. Mine was 8 inches, and we made a straight line. The next thing was from our shoulder to our waistline, which I said is the full length of this top. If you want it longer, you can make it longer. And then the next thing was the neckline, which we said the standard was 3 inches. So we marked 3 inches, 3 inches, and then we marked another 3 inches and made those straight lines. And then I made a curve for the neckline, just like that. The next thing was our shoulder line, okay? So for our shoulder line, mine was 7 inches, and the way I got 7 inches was I measured from one shoulder to the other, which was 14 inches, and then I divided that by 2. That's how I got 7. And then at the 7 inch mark, I went down by 1 inch, and we created our shoulder slope. Okay, So 14 inches divided by 2, I got 7, and then I created that shoulder slope, and I just made that straight line. Okay, I hope you have understood so far. If you're liking the video so far, just leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and let's continue with this pattern. So the next thing is to put my horizontal measurements. So my bust divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. Mine was 8 inches, and then I added 1 inch seam allowance, as you can see. And I did the same thing for the waistline, except we are going to have a dot on the waistline. So you're going to divide your waist measurement by 4, and the answer you're going to get, you're going to add 1 inch seam allowance, and then you're going to add another 1 inch for the dart. Okay, the next thing we're going to be working on is the armhole. So for the armhole, you're going to measure from that point to that point, that point to that point, okay? And then you're going to divide it by 2. Mine was mine was 7 inches exactly. So I'm going to take that 7 inches and divide it by 2, and it gave me 3.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 3.5 inches, that point. So after marking that, I'm going to go in by half an inch. Remember, this is the front bodice, okay? So for the front armhole, always go in by half an inch, like so, and I'm going to create my armhole. So another thing you can do is to measure from that point, to measure 1 inch from that point, and then you're going to make your armhole. But it's just to guide you, it's just to help you make a very straight, not straight, a very perfect curve. So after marking our armhole, the next thing I'm going to just connect the bust point line and the waist, like so. Now let's work on the darts. So the dart is on the waistline, right? The first thing I'm going to do is to mark 4.5 inches, which is the standard measurement. Another thing you can do is take your measurement from one nipple to the other, and that's what you're going to use. Divided by 2, that's what you're going to use, but the standard is 4.5, so I'm just going to use 4.5 inches. I don't know if I've made sense. And then the length of the dart is 5 inches, or you can come down from the bust line by 1 inch or 2 inches and create your dart. But I'm going with the standard, so the standard is 4.5. So after you create that, I'm going to mark a half an inch on both sides, like this. So remember that 1 inch we added on the waistline, it's going to be compensated by the dart. So I'm going to create my dart like that, and this other side like that, and we have our dart. So that is it for the front bodice. We are done, and I'm going to cut it, but pay close attention to how I'm going to cut this front bodice, because I'm going to use it to create the back bodice. And for the back bodice, we have some minor adjustments that we're going to do, so stick around and pay attention. Now I'm just marking my pattern, so I'm just indicating that this is the front bodice and that is the center front line, which can be on fold or not, depending on the design of your top. Okay. So right now let's work on the back part. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make a zipper allowance. So from the edge of the paper, I'm going to mark 1 inch for the zipper allowance, okay? And I'm going to make a straight line like so. After that, I'm going to take my front part and just place it on the back like this. And as you can see, I'm placing it on that line that I just made, like so. Just making sure everything is straight. And at this point, I'm going to use my pins to just make sure everything is in place and it doesn't move. You can also use sellotape to just hold it down, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is create the neckline for the back. So I'm just tracing that line like this, and that is 3 inches. And then for the neck depth for the back is you can use 1 inch. 1 inch is the standard, okay? So that's the line for my neckline. And the next thing I'm going to do is to mark 1 inch from that point to that point, and then I'm going to connect the neckline like so. So remember, for the front the neckline was 3 inches by 3 inches, but for the back the neckline is 3 inches by 1 inch, okay? So the next thing, I'm going to trace my shoulder like that. I just want to get a rough idea of where it sits. And then the next thing is to transfer my dart. So the easiest way to transfer the dart is to use a pin, and I'm going to mark, or no, I'm going to pin it like this so that I can transfer the dart to the back part. So this is the easiest way to do it, okay? So I've just punched a hole there, and I'm going to make a mark, and then I'm going to also mark the dart lines like this, and I'm going to create my back dart. If you have a tracing wheel, you can also use that to trace it, or you can create a new dart entirely. This is just a simpler method, or an easier method. Oh my god, I can't talk today. And that's it for the back. You don't even have to do too much. So I'm going to cut. So first of all, let me extend this neckline up to the zipper allowance like this. So up to the edge of the paper, I'm just going to extend that line, and I'm going to cut it. The back is ready. So pay close attention to how I'm going to cut it, because I'm not going to explain it. After cutting the back, now you can cut out your front neckline and your front armhole. So the only things that we were adjusting were the neckline and the armhole. Okay, so let's cut the front. And that's it for the basic bodice block. I hope you understood. I hope this method was easy. If you have any questions, the comment section is open and free for you to ask any question you have. And if you didn't understand, I can always do another video and another video until you understand. So that's the front bodice. We have our darts, our shoulder line, our armhole, neckline, bust point, and then we have our back bodice, which has a zipper allowance. And yeah, so until next time, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and most importantly, leave a comment so that I know if I am helping someone. Okay, so until next time, bye.